Brand new team. I'm at my wit's end and ready to walk, but I'm really trying to not give up so easy. However, things that have been said and done have me questioning her commitment to this marriage. Here are some examples. My father passed last year and I went through it completely alone. To add insult to injury, she told me to get over his passing. This was 3 weeks after he passed. She told me also my dad wouldn't be proud of me because I didn't graduate college. I graduate in August. She has begun an investment group with friends even though I told her we should look into investing long before that. She puts away $500 a month but will claim broke. I also said I wanted to play the stock market, so she went ahead and did that on her own and didn't tell me until I found out accidentally. I get constantly nagged about the absolute smallest detail, and by small, I mean literally one unwashed cup in the sink. Will not do me any favors at all, but she asks me to do stuff for her all the time and I willingly do it. I can ask her to bring me a beer from the liquor store that is on the way home. I'll put the money in her account, all $9 of it, and she will still say no. She throws her education in my face, but she has never made more money than me. The main thing, however, is bonding. We have slept together on average maybe every 6 to 7 weeks, and even then, it's mechanical or I initiate it. In the past year and a half, we may have had slept together 12 to 14 times, and it's probably less than that. We went a 4-month stretch of nothing. So, I'm here to get advice, I guess. I have a 4-year-old involved and I don't want another man raising her. I want things to work, but she seems not to care. I've talked to her, written letters, gone to counseling, and nothing seems to work. Any ideas? To add to that, I do as much or more for my daughter than she does, so it's not a question of her being tired from that. 35, married 4 years. As far as chores, I do probably 40% given my schedule. I think that's pretty good. As far as income, I make maybe $10,000 a year more, so it's not dramatic. I work 1 full-time job and 1 part-time job, 20 hours a week. In school online part-time. My wife has a graduate degree and is in nursing school. She works full-time too. Everything else is typical. We have a joint account and a house account. She has her own bank accounts. And so, do I. Point is, she hid those things from me. Investment group, stock, and has been a terrible wife. No encouragement, pat on the back, nothing. I know we have deeper issues, but my main issue is bonding. It's a basic human need that I am being denied. And if I go out and cheat, I'll be the bad guy, but all I hear is I'm tired, or she rolls over, crosses legs when I try to start something. I know she has me by the balls cause she knows how much I love my daughter and knows I don't want anyone else to raise her, but I'm stuck because I'm starting to resent her. I don't go home from work right away. I try to go to sleep early. My hobby, fishing, which I do as much as I can. She even has a problem with that, like there are women in the woods waiting to give me a BJ. I really hate this situation. On several occasions I have given my wife the floor to address any issues she has with me. I invite constructive criticism. How will a person know what they are doing wrong? And the only thing it ever comes down to is I haven't got my degree yet. When went to marriage counselor, she told the MC that she is bothered that I don't do things like wash the dishes right away when I cook, which I consciously do now to avoid arguments. Pretty much everything she has asked me to do I have done, but I can't even get laid on vacation. Big problem for me. In short, I want to be married and have a great life. My wife would rather just work and not deal with marriage, family, so I'm basically ready to walk. It's not something I want to do, but I can't live like this. No respect in my household towards me. Constant nagging and no bonding, affection at all. Going on 2 months as I write this. With that said, I love my daughter very much and can't bear not being able to see her every day. I also can't get used to another man being in her life as father figure, nor do I want to really deal with a divorce, alimony, but most importantly my daughter potentially having another man be a part of raising her. I could cheat, which would make me wrong, but at this point I don't know what to do. 3 years later, my wife and I have been at odds for many years, fighting about literally every topic one can think of. I am by no means an angel, but I show my wife respect, do virtually everything she asks me to do, and I do try to be a great husband and dad. I fall short on many things, but she does too. I at least acknowledge my issues. However, over last month things have been the worst they have ever been. Beginning of the month we started having major life arguments. One was over her being someplace that I thought she was to be but wasn't. Turns out I was wrong. I felt so bad I brought her an expensive "I'm sorry" ring which she didn't accept and got mad when I returned it. To be fair, I left it in front of her for a week and it never moved. We kind of got past that, until my intuition told me something was off. She was staying at work late, dressing differently, etc. My worst fear confirmed when I found out she had been having an emotional affair with another married man. When I confronted her, as calm as possible, she told me to leave her alone. Just earlier today we had a heart-to-heart and I asked her if she wanted to save this and if she felt remorse. She seemed to reluctantly say she was willing if things changed, but with the remorse part she said she felt justified. When we were dating 10 years ago, we were very much off and on and basically had separate lives, even though we lived together. During one of our off moments, I took a trip with a childhood friend and we wound up hooking up. Before this trip even took place, I had put her out of my apartment and even told her let's break up. So, we weren't even together when she alleges me cheating. We eventually reconciled and had 2 beautiful kids together. Now this happened and she feels justified. My question is, why the hell did you get married and have 2 kids with me? She seems to have no remorse, and that is what hurts the most. About 2 weeks ago we had the most passionate week of bonding since my daughter was conceived, and knowing she slept with another guy and then slept with me would wreck me. To be honest, only reason I'm even considering this is my children and I genuinely love her. I'm starting to separate my emotions from it and considering what I would tell a friend if this happened to them. He lives 300 miles away. She met him on a vacation with her sister and my heart of hearts said they did it, but she says she did not, but like I should trust her. I asked if she was going to cut him off and she said yes, but now I'm going to be in hyper-detective mode the next few weeks to see if she is sincere. Update: emotionally, I took her back about 2 weeks ago. She agreed to go to counseling. 3 sessions already, and we have been texting and acting like a real married couple until today when I found she is still texting this guy, basically clowning me, so I'm about to file for divorce. She had one of her friends purchase a phone to keep in contact with this guy. I took her back twice and she still continued things on which I knew in the back of my head was going to happen. Literally everything most have said has happened. Blindly I didn't want to believe things and wanted to work on things for the children, but I cannot any longer. My marriage is over and I need to accept it no matter how hurt I am right now. I already filed for divorce, so it's now just a matter of time before I get the summons and serve her. I also just retained a lawyer and hope I can get joint custody of my children. No need to beat me up about this. I knew what I was doing and it happened as I thought it would. She tried to play it off as though I'm crazy when I found her receipt for the track phone. Strangely enough, I was with her blocking Om's contact info with her watching on her phone at the suggestion of our marriage counselor and open her WhatsApp, and literally first thing I see is the receipt. The other 2 girls who were in the group text were the only other 2 people aside from her mom and sister who knew about the affair. I was almost laughing at how dumb she thinks I am. Only drug dealers and cheaters buy track phones. She became defensive and said, I can't take this snooping, just file for divorce. I'm not going to expose. Too much time has passed and eventually he will get tired of her or his wife will find out. Exposing now is unnecessary stress since I already filed. My focus now is solely on my 2 daughters so I can ensure they don't aspire to be a side chick like their mom. He can have her. When she's alone in her apartment or pregnant by him, she will see what she's done. I'm moving on. About exposing. On the fence about this, my wife cheated with a married father of 3. I confronted her, we reconciled, but she continues to talk to him. I've already decided to file for divorce and let her parents know. They are deeply religious and will be disappointed in her. But my question is, should I let this guy's wife know? They only have been married 2 years and have 2 young babies together. This scumbag was texting my wife while his wife was in the other room. A good friend of mine who is an attorney said, why expose and add drama to your life? Also said this guy could be the type to seek revenge on me, or if he is a wife beater could do that too. Anyone else have success exposing affairs to the OM spouse? I'm not necessarily worried for my safety at all. I just hate knowing this guy is walking around texting my wife saying how honest he is with her. My wife, telling her he would never lie to her while his wife is in the other room. Plus, would you not want to know if the situation was reversed? I feel empathy for her since they have been together only 2 years and have children together. A part of me wants some type of revenge, the other part of me feels really bad for her. Another part of me wants my wife to feel like crap that she is doing this to her family. We have a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old and it's bugging me. She risking her family for what? I was going to wait till Friday to file for divorce, but screw it, I'm doing it today. Because I'm in a rage right now where I can't take this crap. Was going to try to play it cool and act like nothing's wrong. But I'm too mad right now, and the fact that I'm literally watching them text each other as I type this is making me mad as ever. What's worse is she texting me she misses me as she is texting him. Man, what a W. I'm doing both. I was going to fall back and monitor the situation for a week and expose her at counseling next week, but I'm not putting myself through this mental torture. I'm watching another man call my wife baby and it's making me crazy. My wife thinks I'm dumb, so when she was in the shower I turned on WhatsApp web and been monitoring all weekend. At first, I thought she had really ended, but she just changed his name to one of her GF's names, but with his profile pic. What an idiot. If you're going to cheat, do it right. I mean, I have more than enough evidence. Been watching her for 2 weeks now and she's real sloppy about covering her tracks. I have at least 50 screenshots and 2 pictures of them together. I have him talking all sorts of crap about his wife, him saying he loves mine, etc. At first I was sad and emotional about it. Now I'm angry cause she sat up in church with me yesterday holding my hand like she gave a crap about me. Unbelievable. Her mom is going to chew her out and her dad's going to disown her. They take on her serious. Update: so as I went to file for divorce, I made sure I called her mother and let her know what kind of daughter she raised. I let her know explicit details and didn't hold back. To be honest, don't really care how her parents react because, like some say, blood is thicker than water. It's not like they will disown her. As I walked the stairs to pay the court fee to divorce, I hesitated, almost leaving until I read a text message confirming they had slept together. He ate her out and worse, she ex him, all in a jacuzzi, which likely means they didn't use protection. Making an app with my PCP tomorrow. So, I calmly went to the window and paid my fee. Not going to lie, the crap hurts and I still have a shred of love for her, but she would rather be a side chick than a wife, so be it. I'm also hiring one of the top family lawyers in the state to assure I get joint custody. As far as telling his wife, I think I'm going to let him sweat for a little while. I have more than enough evidence in multiple places via email, screenshot, on thumb drives, etc., and they are explicit. I'm sure she will spin this on me, but at this point I truly don't give a crap about anything she says. I'm not really on the fence anymore, and she going to realize how she messed up when the sheriff shows up at her job to serve her the divorce papers. She also within the last 5 minutes just deleted the text that I have screenshot. My wife is not the type to show emotion in her eyes. She has to win at everything because she is so competitive. She came home an hour ago and hasn't even come to say anything to me as though I'm at fault. I hope this doesn't damage my next relationship, but it probably will, and unfortunately it probably will, because I will be guarded and someone who really does love me will suffer. I did file for divorce but have 90 days before I have to serve her. We talked and agreed to go to counseling and agreed to write out a list of what we would like in this marriage and how we are going to get there. I want to love this woman and I'm not staying for fear of loneliness. It really truly is love I have. Nobody stays married for 30 to 40 years and more. Both of our parents, aunts and uncles have, and those are my role models. I will try to move past this, and this will test my strength and love more than ever. But if I'm going down swinging, not literally. Plus, my children mean the world to us, and for their sake and for love's sake we are going to try. However, if I get the slightest inkling she is continuing off with her affair, or isn't committed, I will tearfully walk out the door and have her served. 2 years later. Update, well, here I am 2 years later, still married. I decided to give her a second chance since for one I have 2 children, and 2 I really truly love her. It's been tough as hell on me mentally. Prior to this incident I was always confident, fearless and believed in myself. However, after this happened, I find it hard to feel secure in this marriage and my self-esteem is shot. For the record, she does put in more effort in this marriage and things have greatly improved. I really want to make this work since I want my 2 daughters to grow up in a 2-parent home. And again, I truly love this woman. However, the anxiety of wondering if this is going to happen again leads me to jump to conclusions that may or may not be there. It's made me hyper-vigilant about keeping an eye on her, and at times made me seem like a controlling lunatic. This past weekend for her birthday, she chose to go out with her sister to an event I have been to before where I'm sure men hit on her. And whether she shot them down or not, I'll never know, but that anxiety of thinking it might happen again made me seem crazy. I told her straight up, I didn't want her to go, looking like a controlling lunatic, and she obliged, saying she would not. But then I felt like a jerk considering it's her birthday. I told her to go and actually dropped her off at the door. Though things have gotten drastically better from where they were, I'm still on guard at all times and I don't like the person that I have become because of this. I hate being that controlling, jealous husband that needs to police his wife's activities. But as I told her last week, you caused this. I too have never been like this with any woman, and I'm finding it tough to move forward. The thought of splitting up enters my mind all the time, especially if I know she is going to be in a situation where the opportunity to cheat is so easy. My best friend's wife, who is like a sister to me and good friends with my wife, she sort of guided my wife through reconciling, told me that even though she might not show you, she will never do this again because she knows how bad it hurt you. That doesn't give me any confidence or peace, so now I feel like people are looking at me like I'm crazy and I'm not. I just can't hurt like that again. Any suggestion from anyone who has been in a similar situation and got through it? The sister was with her on vacation when it happened. She claims to have not known, but I of course don't believe that. What's funny is her sister is divorced because her ex-husband cheated on her. Her mom found out since I called her literally from the steps of the courthouse the day I filed for divorce. Her parents are deeply religious, so they were upset, and her mom, whom she talks to daily, didn't speak to her for weeks and damaged their relationship. Upon reconciliation, she did show remorse, tears, the whole nine, but I met that with skepticism since, hey, why the hell should I believe her? I'm trying to let this go for my own mental health, but it is not easy. It's not that I need her, I actually enjoy being on my own. Prior to meeting her, I purposely did not get into any relationship for years, and part of that was because of situations like this that occur in many relationships. Financially, I'd be fine, and if it came to divorce, we would split custody because I do as much for my kids as she does. Just I'm trying to make things work, but I'm at war with the thoughts in my head. My comment: your wife had an affair while she was on vacation without you with her sister. Now you are triggered because your wife is going to a singles bar with her sister without you, a place you know guys are going to hit on your wife. Why would your wife like going to a place like that? At this point, the problem is yours, not your wife's. Your wife is who she is. She didn't treat you well going back 5 years. She holds a grudge from when you were not monogamous, when you were single. You love her, more likely you love your children and the stay-together family. What do you love about your wife? You said the same thing when she was treating you like dirt 5 years ago. So why do you love her? What attributes? Lunatic, jealous husband make you look weak, my opinion. You are not a jealous lunatic person. This only happened since the affair. You mention how it hurt so bad and you can't go through that again. I think that's your problem. You found out your wife can cheat, and rather easily, when you are a genuinely caring husband who does his best as a husband and father, and she was so callous in how she treated you well before the affair. I think you have to really look at your wife and her attributes and understand that she is who she is. She is not going to change. People can change, but very few really do. And your wife is just not bright enough or just doesn't care enough to willingly on her own just avoid stuff like singles bar with sister with all the triggering that would occur. First of all, she shouldn't even bring it up. She should just tell her sister she doesn't want to go to a place like that. But apparently your wife likes that kind of place, maybe for validation, maybe for cheating, who knows, but your wife is who she is. Second of all, after you said you don't like it, she shouldn't have gone. Then in the end you drive her there to drop her off to meet the singles bar guys. Stop expecting your wife to be faithful. If she is, great, but she likes other guys' attentions. You have to manage your expectations. You are expecting a faithful wife, but you already know you don't have a faithful wife. I think you have to let go of her not cheating. If she does, she does. You can't stop her. It is beyond your control. You can only control how you react to it. Story 2. I found out a little over a year ago that my partner was having an affair with a work colleague. She is 6 years younger, and it started when she was 20 and he was 26. I confronted him with a Snapchat she had sent to his phone saying, "I love you too, baby." At first, he denied and acted like he had no idea why this woman would say such a thing. So, I pressed and he spilled the beans. I don't have all the details just yet but have had trickle truth since D-Day. Their affair continues, and he is constantly in contact with her. She calls and texts him nonstop when he's here with me and the kids. Has known about me and the children since day one but doesn't care. I've stumbled across pictures of the two of them together, smiling and completely oblivious to the destruction their affair has caused. I went through a very hard time when I first found out. Didn't eat, didn't sleep, puked and gagged to the point of dry heaving. Unable to lift myself out of bed to properly care for my kids at first. I obsessed about who she was, how she looked, and how I compared to her. I reached out to her on social media and left a few having messages about how my world was turned upside down due to their affair. She blocked me. So, I searched for a Twitter profile or something to grasp onto in my desperate state. I found her Twitter and read what she would post for days, even months. She named my WH in more than few posts, talking about how happy they were and how she wouldn't want it any other way. I was devastated. I clung to my WH, searching for any ounce of hope he'd throw my way and clinging onto it desperately, trying to convince him that our relationship would be different if he would just give her up. I'd point out the positives in our relationship and tell him how much I loved him. He continued his affair, getting closer and closer to the O. And then one day, I decided to look for answers or people I could relate to online. I stumbled upon countless websites and numerous forums that gave me a look into my WH's world and a new perspective on long-term relationships and affairs. I soaked up any and all information pertaining to infidelity like a sponge. After reading other people's stories, delving deeper into the world of affairs, I began to realize this wasn't about me or what I was lacking. They chose to have an affair for their own selfish reasons, and nothing I said or did would get through to them. Him and his AP are still in hot pursuit of one another. But I find comfort in the fact that what they have isn't true love. It's merely based on fantasy, what-ifs, believing in the notion of soulmates, destiny, and how the other person makes them feel. WS still lives at home. We were never married but have lived together with our twin boys for the past 7 years in a marriage-like relationship. I obviously still love my WS and I am hoping for reconciliation in the future. AP had been living with her best friend, and WS introduced his brother to AP to try to get her to leave him alone before their affair started. At least, that's what he told me. His brother ended up becoming attracted to AP's best friend so much so that he ended up moving in with them. Apparently, WS's brother and now partner was not okay with the affair and told my WS and AP that they would no longer tolerate it and kicked her out. AP is living in her mother's basement, and WS goes over to spend the night with her whenever their schedules permit. AP's mom knows that WS and I were together at the start of their relationship but didn't have an issue with it because AP said we were breaking up. I told WS friends and family the truth about his affair months after discovery, due to my insecurities on rocking the boat and him leaving me. I disclosed to anyone who I felt would be able to really shed some light on what he's doing. His friends ended up seeming to be okay with his choices, as they've hung out with him and AP at the bar and in public. He lashed out at me each time I've told someone new, saying it's none of their business, you'll tell anyone who will listen. You want people to think I'm a bad person. They don't know why I did it. We're not even together anymore, so how is it still an affair? A week after discovery, and a lot of hysterical bonding, he told me we needed to take a break so that he could figure out what he wants. He asked the AP to be his GF, and here we are. She wants to move in together. I've asked him about him moving out many times, and each time I do he says things like it doesn't feel right. It's hard looking for a new place. Well, I worry about how you'd hold up after I left. Plenty of excuses, and it truly doesn't seem that he wants to leave. He's told me in the past that he made a mistake cheating on me, that he's happy to have met me, that he wouldn't want anyone else to be the mother of his children, all the while his affair continues. But I have been naive in letting him have his cake and eat it too. Our relationship is friendly. He shows me funny things on the internet, new music he thinks I'd like, and sometimes watches movies with me. There is no physical intimacy, though we do sleep in the same bed, and he asks for hugs randomly. Though I did start sleeping on the couch very recently. He said in the past that I'm still important to him. Each time he leaves to be with AP, he attempts to make conversation about our kids or things he knows I enjoy before heading out the door, as if he doesn't want to go, but I think it may be just guilt. I have been giving him the space he requested, but I notice that when I don't pay attention to him for extended periods, he seeks me out. When I bring up my feelings about our past, or the affair, we are able to have discussions about what went wrong and why he strayed, but he seems to get pushed towards her afterwards. I don't text him or call him throughout the day, or have him on social media. AP told him to unfriend me, but I think that's made things easier in a way. There are small inklings towards regret, remorse at times, but he is still very much deep in the fog, currently working on 180, which, for me, the first step is to not pursue. One step at a time and trying my best to be patient with it all. I know that some changes definitely need to be made. I absolutely cannot let him take advantage of me while he runs off to be with her. I was interested in the 180 because I've grown accustomed to coping mechanisms surrounding his affair, and I wish to find the strength to detach from him emotionally. Everyone has very sane advice. Right now, it's about me working on myself so that I am able to be confident enough to feel like I'll be okay when I kick him out. I'm a stay-at-home mom right now, so I've been dependent on him to pay the bills, and I've let my feelings for him excuse his infidelity. I'm trying to break free, but it's a process for me to finally let him go. I believe I'm transitioning from the shock, pain of the affair into the early stages of acceptance. It'll be a process, especially since there are a lot of residual feelings. But I need to work towards independence, and stop letting him play me for a fool. At first, I didn't want to accept that I would have to cut him loose for my own sake, and was hopeful there would be encouragement towards letting him stay until he realized what he stands to lose. But the more advice I get from others who have been where I am now, the more I begin to realize how naive and complacent I've been with being a mere option. There's hope, and then there's just being downright foolish, unrealistic. I'm going to assess my options and move forward one way or another. I'm scared and will admit I am very reluctant, but I don't wish to be taken advantage of any longer. At one point I was obsessed with trying to nice him back to be with our family again, but that didn't work, and it won't work in the future either. Even thinking about the necessary steps I have to ultimately take is a tad overwhelming, but I'm confident that I'll get there. I know that moving on and letting go would be much easier without him here being nice and sitting on the fence. I love him, but I don't deserve this at all. Unfortunately, common law marriage is not recognized in the state of Hawaii. I'm going to have to do a lot of digging within myself and reaching out to people that care about me to determine the best course of action for me and the kids. My comment: I seriously cannot believe you are putting up with this. You have no dignity, and guess what? He won't respect you ever. Get out. Go do whatever you can. Please do not lose your dignity anymore. Please don't do it. Do your 180, but if you were my friend, I think I would have wake you up hard. You're eroding your soul. Subscribe if you enjoyed these too.